You will not be needing a lawyer to verify your property after watching this video. Well, if you're a first-time home buyer or you want to own a land or any property at all, and you want to actually like do due diligence, you want to ensure that your property is not under government encumbrance, or maybe probably government is going to take it tomorrow, and you want to really check that property, or you don't even understand the title of that property you are in the right place. You're going to learn a lot about land titles, property titles. Today I'm going to be going in depth. I'm going to be explaining with diagrams so you actually see. And if that is something you would love to watch, please smash that like button and subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to be explaining that you will not even need a lawyer to actually explain anything to you. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you should just teach lawyer, because that's their profession, that's their area, they are experts when it concerns things like this. Still have your lawyer, but I'm saying you'll be able to ask the right questions, because at the end of the day, you are not a newbie to things like this, and it's not as if you don't know anything at all about land titles. You are going to be well informed, that you are going to be able to like ask the right questions even when you're communicating with your lawyer, or maybe probably you are communicating with estate agents. If that is what you love to see, make sure you actually smash that like button, and I'm going to appreciate it. Thank you, and let's go into this video properly. All right, so let's dive into this. Before the land decree in 1978, all land was free. No land was under any government encumbrance. If you needed to own a land, then you just needed to go to the family or community or the buyers, and you buy your property, and it is for you. Nothing like CFO, nothing like decision, nothing like every document you're seeing right now, nothing like governor's consent then. So you just needed to like buy from the families and or ballet, or and it's yours. Even the government as at then, when they needed a particular property to use, even they needed to like consult the real owners, the ancestral owners of those properties. But everything changed in the year 1978. In the year 1978, everything changed. Everything changed. And because of the decree, when the decree came into place, government acquired all lands. Now all lands belong to the government. All land belong to the government. State government now had power, sole power over every property. So it was no longer government going to ancestral owners or to families just because they needed to like do something for the community or for a project, that anything like that. It just everything just government just took over everything. That was what happened after the decree that all lands belong to the government in the year 1978. Some people say it's 1979. Well, it's either 1978 or 1979. So that's what history says. All right. So this led to what I'm going to next, which is committed acquisition, committed acquisition, non-committed acquisition, then free lands. So there were still some lands that they were free. Some lands were free, while some they were under non-committed acquisition. Some were under committed acquisition. Now let me talk about this. Now, committed acquisition are those properties that government has already said this is what we are using it for. This land is committed for so purpose. We are using this particular area to build an airport. We are using this particular area to build a stadium. We are using this particular area to build schools. We are using this particular area for bridge, train station, whatever. So they've already like highlighted, they've already specified what they are using that particular property for, that particular land for. So when it is committed, if you buy that kind of property, I can tell you, you've just wasted money. That is why it's always important for you to like know these things. I know some of you guys might just be hearing this for the first time. Why some of you guys you know it, but you might just not know that this is what it is being referred to. Well, you know now. When a land is committed, and you can always know, and we're getting to that. I'll tell you how you can actually know. Just make sure you watch to the end of this video. You can always know, you can always find out if a land is under any government encumbrance, if it is committed or if it is not committed. Now I'll move to the next one, which is non-committed acquisition. Now, under non-committed acquisition, this is when government acquired a large portion of land, or it might not be large. They just acquired the land and they don't have a purpose for it. For the committed acquisition, they have a purpose. They've decided that okay, we're using it for a train station. They've decided that okay, we're using this for a school. They've decided okay, we're using it for a cemetery. But under non-committed acquisition, they have not decided on anything. They don't know what they want to use it for yet. But they just got that property because probably it's close to the beach or it's close to the road, and they feel like okay, this might be perfect for a park. in the next few years. This might be perfect for a free trade zone in the next few years, or for an airport, or for a seaport, or whatever. So they just want to get that land and they just acquire it, but they don't have any plan for it yet. That's what non-committed. So it's not committed for anything yet. That's what non-committed acquisition is for. Now the next one is free. Now government didn't acquire some lands. Of course, all land still belongs to the government, but there are some that they didn't specify that okay, we've acquired this land. They didn't say anything about it. Of course, they can come tomorrow and say come and acquire it because some land belongs to the government after the decree in 1978. But then it's free. As far as we are concerned, it's free. And those kind of lands are the lands in rural areas, places that are not yet developed. They don't have any plan for it yet. They are not saying anything about it, and that means it's going to be free. You see lands like this sometimes in Ekpe, you see in Ikorodu also, if you're talking about Lagos State. So, but in other open areas, you can't see freelance anywhere. You can't see freelance anywhere. All right. So now let's go back to committed acquisition. Now, I've already explained before that if a land is under committed acquisition, it means that land is government already has purpose for it. Now, the arrow is pointing up. So the public use might be for cemetery, might be for canal. There was a situation of government demolishing a house just because, not one house actually, a lot of houses. I think it happened around, I think around the Cathay, about 2 years ago. And the main reason was because canal passed through that particular property. People that bought into that property, if they had done their due diligence, these are things that they would have easily seen that this particular area is under acquisition. Properties were lost. I feel bad for those people, but then something that could have been avoided if they knew these things, if they probably watched the video like this, or if they were able to like consult their lawyers. Maybe they didn't even use lawyers at all. Maybe they just like, but uh, yeah, you can't just take developers' words for it because this money, like it's a lot. Like I watched the video. You can still the video is still online. If you check the video, you feel bad for them. I felt so bad for them. Honestly, even though I don't know anybody there, but then you feel this at the end of everything. Some people that's their life savings, and it breaks my heart to actually like see that things like that are happening to people that have worked so hard for their money. But then these are things that you will know, you will find out if you have knowledge of things like this. So public use like free trade zone. We have free trade zone at Pejuleki axis. We have airport as a Pejuleki axis, as a Lekki Ekpe airport, just along the Lekki Ekpe expressway, just before you get to Ekpe, that Ibejuleki Ayetoro axis. So we have a new airport and a land has been proposed for the airport. Imagine someone buying into that property now. You're buying a land that government already said this we are using this place for the airport. Then you will know that that property they are definitely going to take it away from you. It's just a matter of time. So these are things that you should run from. If you don't know, you don't know. That's the truth. So the next one is schools. There are federal schools, there are state schools. Sometimes government, they've already said this particular property, this is what we're using it for. It's committed. All these schools you're seeing now that are federal schools or state schools, there was a time that they were just bare land. Imagine someone building there. Then, what do you think is going to happen to someone who built where Unilag is currently situated? What do you think is going to happen to someone who built where LASU is currently situated? They are going obviously going to like demolish the house. So it's not about how much you spend, it's not about you. It's just about what the government already said they are going to do. And when it concerns government, I'm telling you, you're not winning that battle. You're not winning that case. So that's how it is. So market, bridge, train station. So places like this they are holy. Don't go near it. Don't buy lands that are committed. Now you can't know if you don't do your due diligence. You can't know if you don't ask your lawyer to check for things like this. That is why you're watching this video. That is why you're learning right now. All right, so let's move to the next one, which is non-committed acquisition. Now, I already explained before that when it concerns non-committed acquisition, government can acquire land without having any purpose to use it yet. They might not have specified that this is what we're using. They don't know whether it's food they want to build there. They don't know whether it's train station. They don't know whether it's cemetery. But they've seen that this location is actually somewhere that is close to the express or it's close to the beach, just like I said before. And they feel like in the near future we'll actually need this. That's why they've acquired this land. So when it concerns this, don't buy properties like this. But then there are cases where you can buy. When can you buy? You can buy if the property is gazetted or as an allocation, government allocation. If it's gazetted or as an allocation. So what do I mean by gazetted excision? Now I'll first explain excision itself. So excision is when A family, when a land has been taken away from family or ancestral owners, and government, just like we said, all land belongs to the government after the decree in 1978. Now, a family goes back to the government and say, this land belongs to our forefathers. Please, can you return this property to us? The government can decide that, okay, out of this 100 acres that we've taken away from you, or out of these 50 acres we've taken away from you, we'll be excising, we'll be giving back 20 acres to you because we've seen the evidence that you truly own this particular property. So the process of excising that portion to them is the process what we call excision. That's what we call excision. So I broke these things down into excision in view, approved excision, excision block, village excision. Now, what's excision in review? Excision in review occurs when the family has come to meet them and they've explained why they need to give them back that property. So the government start to process and they're going to give them something, they're going to give them a file number. Once the property has a file number, it's going to have an excision file number, then that means it's in process. You're already working. It doesn't mean the excision is out, but it's in process. Now, approved decision, excision block, village excision, they all mean the same thing. You only get these things when it has been approved. So when a property has an excision, it means government have already excised that portion back. Not everything. They're not giving you back everything. Now, this is where you need to be careful. You see some properties, they'll tell you as decision, and you just believe it, you take their word for it. Don't take their word for it. You still need to get your surveyor, you still need to get your lawyer. Let them go and do the due diligence and find out the part which has been excised for them. Because, like I said before, you might have 100 acres and they've only excised 40 back to them. So if it's only 40 they've already excised back to them, you don't want to buy the remaining part of the 60 that government has not excised to them. If you buy part of that 60, your property is under government acquisition and they will send you away the minute they notice you're building on that property without a single compensation. So you need to make sure that even though that land already has an excision, know the part. Hope your own plot is not falling in the part that does not have an excision. So these are things that you want to ensure that you know. These are things you want to ensure that you are well informed on. And now, what is the meaning of gazette? Now, gazetted decision is the only thing that you should look for when you are trying to buy a property. Like, this should be just buy this. Don't buy a decision. Don't buy a property when you just have a decision. And if you want to buy a property that just has a decision, ensure that you try and get allocated on it before. Don't worry, I'm still going to go to the part of allocation, but I'm trying to like chip it in so that you understand. Before government change their mind, now government can change their mind. Yes. If a property just has an decision, go and it has not been gazetted, government can still change their mind. What do I mean? Now, gazette, it brings me to the gazette now. Gazette is like trying to pass a law. If you are trying to pass a law now, they are going to state it that okay, this so bill has been passed, and now you are not supposed to be outside in Lagos State after 9 and stuff like that. It's the same thing for gazette. Now, a land has been given back to a family, but now until it has been documented in the Lagos, not necessarily Lagos, wherever state it is, until it has been documented that okay, this social land is now being given to this family in the year 2025. So plot has been excised from the 100 acres that has been collected from them until it has been gazetted and is written in that document. Don't buy. Don't buy because government can always change their mind. If they have something they want to use it for, they will just change their mind. They'll just tell you they're not. The decision will just be there. And once they've not gazetted it, they can always take it back anytime. So gazette gives you that assurance. It gives you reason not to be afraid anymore once it has been gazetted. So that's what I'm going to advise that you buy. Don't buy a decision. Don't just buy a decision. And if you are buying a decision, just go for government allocation. Try and meet the government and go for government allocation. So that takes me to allocation. I didn't want to dive too deep in it before. Oh no. So what is allocation? It's popularly known as government allocation. Now this is when government has already, when the land is under acquisition, but now an individual or a company, can be a real estate company, can be an individual, can be anyone, goes to the government and tell the government that you've not been using this property. We won't have a need for it. We want to build so and so here, and we'll be happy if you can allocate these properties for us. Now the government is going to give what we call government allocation. So once they give them government allocation, they can actually now process C of O easily. We're still getting to that. But then government allocation is not cheap. It's as if you're buying that property all over again. But that's not what we're going to be talking about today. But then once you go for government allocation, now this one is not, you don't have any connection with that land. You should understand that it's not owned by your ancestral owners, unlike a station that is owned by the ancestral owners. It's not owned by your family. In fact, you don't know anything about that property. The only thing you know is that it's under acquisition and this is the property that is close to the express. You really like it. You go to the government, they tell you the conditions, they'll tell you whether it's available or not. And if they are willing to like allocate it to you, they'll tell you the terms that you need to meet and the amount you need to pay. Then you pay, then you are allocated by the government. That's why you see some properties that are government allocation. Yes, it is safe to buy if you want to buy. Of course, you still need to do your due diligence, but now you have first-hand information and knowledge of what it actually means. So ensure that you tell your lawyer to actually like check that for you and ensure that truly government really allocated that property to them, so that it's not turn to, you know. So don't let me say anything. All right. So now when you have a gazetted decision, you can easily process what I call C of O. Yes, C of O / governance consent. Now, in this deed of assignment and register survey that is there, it's just another topic for another day. But deed of assignment, let me just say, it just shows transfer of ownership from the ancestral owners to whoever is buying. But then necessarily might not be here, and the reason is because the ancestral owners can also get C of O. So if they get C of O and they're trying to resell to someone else, then the person can get governance consent. And if you also allocated by the government, if you got a government allocation, you can also easily get C of O. You can process your document to be C of O. So once you get a C of O and someone else is trying to buy from you, the person can now process what we call governance consent. Now you need to understand that the apex of every property, what should end every property, the title that should end every property you buy should be governance consent. That is the aim. It should be governance consent. When you're trying to resell, if you have a C of O, there cannot be two C of Os. So if you're selling the property with C of O, whoever is getting that property, whoever you're transferring that property to, should get to process what we call governance consent. So once you have your governance consent and you have your deed of assignment and register survey, it shows that you actually are the new owner and not the old owner. And this is how this actually helps. This helps because the government can easily keep a track record of the change of ownership of this property. Now imagine you trying to buy a property, then the village and the ancestral owners, they are selling, let's say, the 40 plus that have been assigned to them, 40 acres have been assigned to them, and now they are selling 20 acres to an individual. And the individual bought when they had C of O. Now the individual has to go and do his own governance consent. Once he has gone to do his governance consent, then they are going to update it in the governance record that okay, this family, these people, these ancestral owners no longer have 40 acres, they now have 20 acres. So this is what your surveyor is going to see. This is what your lawyer is going to see when they do due diligence, when they try to check that property, just like you inform them to do. They are going to see that, okay, they're trying to sell 40 acres to us, but now in the governance record, it's saying you only have 20 to sell. You already sold 20 before. So that way you can call them to order and tell them what you're trying to sell, and probably you'll come clean and let you know that okay, we're sorry. So this is one of the reasons why government keeping record is actually very good. It's beneficial to us. So don't just take their word for it. Go and do this proper search. You know the meaning now. You know how this works now. Call your lawyer and explain to them. Tell them, okay, help me check. Do they truly have 40 plots? Yeah, you are going to see it. As long as they have a COO, you are going to see it. You're going to know. All right. So they've already sold 20 and now they have 20. Now you can now talk on buying 10 or the old 20 from them. And once you get the 20 for them, you get a deed of assignment which shows transfer of ownership between you and the family. Then you also get a register survey showing your name and the plot and the map of where your plot is on the entire land, and you're going to get a governance consent, not a C of O anymore. The reason is because there can only be one C of O. There can't be multiple C of O. There can't be two C of Os. Only one. So the other people that are now buying that property, even if you are trying to resell that property, you are going to be, the person buying from you is going to also be getting governance consent. There can be multiple governance consent, but there can only be one C of O. So you can easily process a free land. Now I'm going to free land now. You can easily process a free land to have CFO. You can easily process a free land to have governor's consent. So, but then it has to be CFO first. So from the CFO, whoever you are reselling to can now process to governor's consent. So non-committed acquisition can be processed. Non-committed acquisition can be processed through excision or allocation. So if you have any connection with the land, maybe it's your family that owns it and all, you can easily process a gazetted excision, which is going to help you easily get a CFO, and whoever you are selling to later in the future can easily process to governor's consent. And if it is a free property, you can easily process from here. You don't need to go to gazetted or allocation. You can jump from free to CFO, and whoever you are selling to can jump to governor's consent. Why for non-committed acquisition, you will need to go through this route because it's not free. Go through non-committed acquisition, go through gazette, go through allocation. If you are affiliated to the property, you can go through gazetted decision. While if you are not affiliated, you don't know anything about the property, you can go through allocation. Like I said, allocation is way more expensive than the other than gazetted decision because you don't have any connection with it. So it's as if you are buying the property directly from the government. All right, so from allocation, then you go to CFO. From allocation, you can go to CFO. Whoever you are reselling to can then do their governance consent. I hope I've been able to like explain a bit on this. Yeah, we're going to have other videos actually like show and explain other things, but then I hope I've been able to explain this thing in depth. So if you want to own a property, ensure, I'm begging you, ensure that you have all these things in check. You have all these things in place. Call your lawyer, talk to your surveyor, ensure that they do due diligence before you buy that property. Because if you don't do your due diligence, tomorrow you might just find out that their property is under acquisition. I hope that's not the case. So you know about these things. Please, 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 please don't waste your money. Don't waste your money. Ensure that you know these things. Please, if you've gotten value from our video today, please, we've actually put a lot of effort into this video. Please, to be able to like reach more people, like, share, we really appreciate it. You can drop your comment also. My comment is always open. Drop your comments. If you have any questions, I will respond to every question. So if you also like the video or you want me to make a particular video, post it also in the chat box. And happy new year to everyone. I hope to see you in the next video.